Parallels have rightly been drawn between the present crisis in economics and the events of the Great Depression. I'm going to discuss the important role of trade unions in that crisis and then suggest 3 lessons around academia, history and monetary economics. Ernest Bevin was the greatest figure of the 20th century labour movement. Orphaned into poverty, he formed the giant Transport and General Workers Union, the forerunner of today's Unite. He made huge contributions to rebuilding the Labour Party, ending his life as Foreign Secretary to the Attlee government. In spite of little or no formal education, he had an uncanny macroeconomic instinct. As the disastrous effects of the gold standard monetary policy and austerity fiscal policies of the 1920s unfolded, Bevin saw clearly the role of orthodox finance and economics. With strategic brilliance, he got business on side and called for a public inquiry into banking, finance and credit. The consequent Macmillan Committee was a model of democratic openness and radical thinking. In particular, he gave Keynes an official platform. The minutes show them exploring each other's views in some depth and the two working in tandem to grill witnesses, especially from the financial sector. Though Bevin was in no way enthralled to Keynes, the report of the committee stopped short of calling for an end to the gold standard, so Bevin published his own reservation. Notably, as a free trader, he objected to proposals for tariffs. From then on, the trade union movement and the Labour Party worked together to devise a radical agenda for monetary reform. Alongside the more progressive Bretton Woods international environment of the post-war, the agenda was critical to the great successes of the Attlee government, though there had already been genuine progress over the 1930s in Britain, Roosevelt's United States and Léon Blum's France. The first of my lessons, this happens if you deny me PowerPoint. Academia blocks progress in economic thought. In the 1930s, the cry that the emperor had no clothes came from outside academia. The membership of the Macmillan Committee was drawn largely from the real world. No matter his prominence, Keynes was an outsider and his ideas never accepted by the profession. Instead, in 1932, Lionel Robbins of the London School of Economics redefined academic economics around unlimited wants and scarce means, utterly irrelevant at the peak of the Great Depression. So today, it is unsurprising that the challenge to the status quo comes from outside academia. It is a pleasure to be lined up this evening with not only Rethinking Economics, Joe's Economy, the Citizens Panel, and of course the Bank of England. And likewise, it is unsurprising that academia is still resisting the call for reform. Scarce means is translated to the judgment that we have been living beyond our means. So academia has added the promotion of austerity to its ever longer list of failures. Number 2. Economic history is written by the orthodoxy. While the profession has operated to keep history off the syllabus, in the classroom, students are subject to a distorted view of past events. Trade unions feature primarily as those who wrecked the post-war regime, with not a word said about their help in building it. Wage claims were obviously important to the inflation of the 1970s, but the reality was far more complex. Virtually everything in my Bevin story conflicts with orthodox history. For example, we see Keynes not concerned with fiscal policy to cure crisis, but as a monetary economist concerned to prevent crisis. We see genuine progress in the 1930s as the flip side to the degeneration elsewhere that is the sole focus of orthodox history. In 1944, the Labour Party issued a policy document that opens, "Blame for unemployment lies much more with finance than with industry. Mass unemployment is never the fault of the workers. Often it is not the fault of the employers." This conclusion is straightforward and clear-cut, let alone compelling, but it has not been debated in the literature. It has simply been omitted from history. Number 3. The way forward is monetary economics. Just like the left in the 1930s, the Bank of England has focused its initial efforts on monetary economics, from the principles of credit creation through to balance sheet outcomes, including radical uncertainty and even the potential invalidity of the idea of natural rates. While academia is refusing to contemplate alternative approaches, the bank is deploying these approaches, specifically post-Keynesian economics, to aid finding a way forward. In pointing out that orthodox textbooks have money completely wrong, they are really pointing out that orthodox macroeconomics is irrelevant to the problems of the world. So to conclude, I suggest that in seeking reform, we be alive to these three lessons around academia, history, and money. There is a famous quote that those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. Taking the sum of the three parts, with finance having run amok for at least 4 decades, can there be any doubt of the relevance of Labour's diagnosis to the world today? Andy Haldane has called for a Keynes for the 21st century. My personal view is that a good starting point would be to understand properly the 20th century version. With very malicious political forces exploiting the very real hardship in the world, to not be open to anything and everything seems to me profoundly wrong and extremely dangerous. Though I should end on an optimistic note. The so-called golden age after the war was not the result of chance, it was the result of a collective exercise of reason. We should surely proceed on the basis that a second golden age is within our grasp. There's the last slide, which is a plug. Thank you very much. Thanks,